I have a story to tell you. I have a good friend. His name is Rock. He is a YouTuber, but his videos are not about coasters. He reviews books, and his videos are actually pretty good. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'll link his channel in the description. Rock watches my videos, but he is not a coaster enthusiast. He watched my video about the 12 days of Six Flags, and he was a little confused by all the models and manufacturers I sang about in that video. So here I am making a long overdue video to explain the most important coaster manufacturers in the industry that the successful coaster enthusiast should know. While coasters have been around since the early 20th century, I personally believe the part of coaster history where this topic is relevant starts in 1959 at the one and only Disneyland in Anaheim, California. Supposedly, while he was on vacation in Switzerland, Walt Disney sent a postcard of the real Matterhorn mountain back to Imagineering with a message to the effect of, "Build me this." Disney contracted Aerodynamics, a company from Utah, to build the coaster, and the world's first tubular steel coaster was born. This began the modern age of roller coasters, and was the launch of one of the most influential coaster manufacturers, Aero. Aero built several other rides for the Disney company during its existence, but never built them another roller coaster. Aero went on to build the world's first modern inverting coaster, Corkscrew, at Knott's Berry Farm. They also built the world's first coaster to crack 200 feet tall, Magnum XL 200. However, Aero consistently used traditional hand-drawn designs into the 1990s, even while technology progressed and other manufacturers began implementing it. Even when they finally switched to computer-based design, it wasn't enough to save them, and their last insane project, X at Six Flags Magic Mountain, drove the company into bankruptcy. The next manufacturer we'll discuss is Vekoma, and when I was a new enthusiast, I originally believed that Vekoma and Aero had something in common because their track designs are virtually identical, and both made inverting coasters. However, in the 80s and 90s, Vekoma's specialty was boomerang coasters, a model I did mention in the 12 Days of Six Flags. They were a simple shuttle coaster model, yanking you through 3 inversions and then doing it all again backwards. They also became infamous for their SLC model, an inverted coaster with horribly uncomfortable trains. Importantly, as Vekoma coasters became less popular into the early 2000s, they had an important customer, Disney. For some strange reason, Disney decided they need somebody special to build Big Thunder Mountain in Paris, even though they built the 3 others themselves. They hired Vekoma to do it, leading to a long and trusting relationship between Disney and Vekoma that continues today. I personally believe that if not for Disney, Vekoma would have gone bankrupt by now. And Vekoma has adapted to the new age of coasters very quickly. In the last 10 years, they've had huge success in Europe and are making a triumphant return to North America with new innovative models that will give other manufacturers a run for their money. As Aero lost popularity in the amusement industry, another company rushed in to take the scene, Intamin. Cedar Fair gave Intamin many chances to build great things. They broke the 300 and 400 foot height records, both at Cedar Point, although arguably the first 400 foot coaster was actually Superman at Magic Mountain, but it was still an Intamin. The company enjoyed a lot of success innovating throughout the coaster wars when everybody was trying to outdo each other. However, as the coaster wars wore off, parks began to realize that Intamins had loads of problems and were pretty expensive, so they became rather unpopular. However, like Vekoma, Intamin has fought tooth and nail during this new age to create very good and more or less reliable coasters. They are once again becoming a manufacturer of choice, with Universal as a notable example of trusting them for many of their recent projects. Another manufacturer that gained success during the coaster wars was Bolliger and Mabillard, or Bolliger and Mabillard, or Bolliger and Mabillard, or you get the picture. They're a Swiss manufacturer that was founded by a German and a French guy. So we just call them B&M to make it easy for everybody because no one really knows how to say it. B&M started by making stand-up coasters and traditional sit-down loopers. These models were popular at the time, but they quickly began to create unique and innovative designs such as the invert and the dive coaster. Later, they created arguably their most successful model, the hypercoaster. While they certainly weren't the first to build coasters over 200 feet, that was Aero, B&M Hypers are smooth, have excellent airtime, and have good capacity and reliability, making them very appealing to parks. B&M continues to enjoy more success and has effortlessly adapted to changes in the demands of the industry by expanding their portfolio with more new models, like the Pipeline coaster. The last manufacturer I feel the need to talk about is Rocky Mountain Construction, or RMC for short. RMC is very unique in that their very first coaster, New Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas, was built in 2010 and was an Iron Horse overhaul. This means they took the old, rough, boring Texas Giant and put steel track on the wood structure. This allowed them to add more forceful and exciting elements and provide a much smoother ride experience. Their second Iron Horse conversion, Iron Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, even had an inversion, and so did pretty much everyone after. These hybrid conversions were a very popular Six Flags purchase for almost 10 years, until they essentially ran out of parks to give them to. In 2018, RMC built their first single-rail coasters at Six Flags Fiesta Texas and California's Great America, which fly over the track at pretty insane speeds and have some of the most violent forces I've experienced on a coaster. They also have a longer, more drawn-out version of the Raptor model, that's what it's called, at Six Flags Magic Mountain and Great Adventure. That was a lot of information in a pretty short period of time, and it's barely the tip of the iceberg when it comes to coaster manufacturers. If y'all would like, I can make a part 2 video or some videos talking about a certain manufacturer in more detail. If you want to learn about what a coaster enthusiast even is, you can go check out my video about it. And now that you know all about a few manufacturers, you can go have a coaster adventure.